Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Johanna. For those of you who are new here, welcome. For those of you who are returning, welcome back. In today's video, I'll be doing the February 2022 installment of the Stash Dive collab hosted by Poetspice. And if that is of interest to you, please stay tuned. Okay, Poetspice every month is hosting the Stash Dive collab. And basically it is using stuff that's over 6 months old in your arsenal and just making something with it. Now, I will be using a coloring book again. I have used this in the past in the very first one I did for January. I'll go ahead and link the playlist below, and definitely go ahead and check out, before I forget, check out all of the ladies listed in the description box. They are all participating in this collab every month. The third Friday of the month, we will be posting a video that goes towards this. So it's definitely something you can look forward to on a monthly basis. I think that's all I'm supposed to say. Yeah. So in January, I use this coloring book. In today's video, I'm going to use this coloring book, but I'm not going to color in it. I am going to use this in a craft project. And at the end of the video, I'll show you why the measurements I'm going to give you when I'm doing this don't really matter, but also some ideas on how you can use what I'm going to be showing you. So this is The Time Garden by Daria Song. I realized that this is one of the first ones that I had purchased when I rediscovered coloring, but just looking through it, it's not something I'm actually going to color. So I thought, well, I mean, it's good paper. Why not repurpose it? So I've chosen this page right here, and the book is not perforated. So what I do is I don't try to be too precious about it. I just use an X-Acto, and it's as easy as that. Now, for this particular project, any scraps that you have actually would be perfect. Scrapbooking paper, even copier paper would work. And again, when I show you the examples, you'll see what I mean by that. But let me put this away. Now, I'm going to use my cutting board because I'm not really good at cutting straight lines, although you could measure and use the scissors and a ruler and all that. But I know I'm not good at that, so I'm not going to do it that way. I do know this is not an even edge, although it looks it. But this is the edge that I want, and so I'm going to turn it around. And I'm going to measure this at 1.5. And I'll just save this for another day. And then I'll cut this down to 5.5. Again, measurements don't matter. All right, so I've got that little piece right there, and actually both sides are really cute. I think I'll go for this side right here. And what I'm going to be making, I don't even think I mentioned it, is I'm going to be making a page marker. So I don't want this whole thing. I do want this to flip over because I do want it to stand out on top of the book or whatever I'm putting it in. So I'm going to do some measuring. You could do this by eye, but again, if you're going to be exact about it, I'll show you how you can do that. And so I'm going to make 2 registration marks at the 1 inch. And then I'm going to make a registration mark at the 1/8 of an inch. And I'll do that twice so that I can create some straight lines. Now I promise you, you don't actually need to be this fussy about it, but I'll show you the process, and then you can decide how finicky you want to do this. Because you could actually take all the scraps that you have and make a bunch of these. But it gives you at least how to do it this way, and then you can make it more efficient for you if you want. Now, because I don't want to pull out my scoreboard, all I'm going to do is I'm going to bend it backwards until I get to that line. And because it was a pretty sharp point, it actually was already kind of scored. And then I'm going to fold it back on itself so that it's like that. Now that other line that I put there, that's because I'm going to put some glue there. Now this is actually, the glue that I'm using is not the Tombow Aqua because that's a clear glue. The glue that I filled this up with when that glue was over was this one right here, Art Glitter Glue. I had the other bottle that you usually see with this, but the tip kept clogging, and when I put a stainless steel pin in it, the pin would rust, and that was just really gross to me. So I just decided to fill this up, and this is what I'm going to be using in conjunction with this. I do recommend a wet glue. I do not recommend a double-sided adhesive, and I'll talk about why in just a bit. So I'm going to put a thin bead, or as thin as I can get it, down there. The measurement there doesn't really matter. Again, I'll talk about that in a little bit, but I do want this to stand up a little bit higher on top of my page, because if I just fold it over, put it like that. If I just fold it over, then I could see it if I looked at the top of the book, but this way it'll stick up a little beyond the page, and that way I can see it even easier. Okay. Now I could have made this longer, and again, in some of the ones I'm going to show you, that's exactly what I did. And I believe, yeah, this was 1.5 that way. And this was 5.5 up and down. This will just help me when I'm doing the editing so I can put it in the description box. And this was 1 inch, and this was 1/4 inch. Okay, now that in itself is done. It's going to do the job that it's supposed to do. This is the Productivity Happy Planner sticker book. I've got a ton of Happy Planner sticker books. This one's back from 2016, and so I could embellish this even a little more and just put a sticker at the top. And it just fits, but if it didn't, I would just cut the overhang. That doesn't matter. What it says doesn't matter, so you can personalize this to you. So let me show you how this works. So I've got 3 items here. You could make one of these and put it in your planner. Now this is the same coloring book page. You can see it's a lot longer. This one, a Happy Planner sticker, was just actually able to fit, so I put it there. And this could be a great way to do a running list because you're just using scraps or things you already have, things that's already in your arsenal. Doing a grocery list or whatever on here and then tossing this would not bother me because at the end of it, I'm using my stuff. But the way that it works is because you've got that back flap, it does stay on relatively well. I was inspired by these little page flag things I bought from Page and Ink. That's what gave me the idea to do this. But again, this is just running into your stash, and you can make a bunch of these. You can see it goes along really quickly, and then you can decide to write on it. You can decide not to. That's all absolutely up to you. But you can also see the size really doesn't matter. What you need is a little bit on the front and a little bit on the back so that it has a little bit of a hold to the page. And so that's a way that you can use it in your planner, your journal. This is the buddy read that I'm doing with my friend Andy. I will be starting this later today. And here it could just be a regular bookmark. Same coloring page, it's just scraps I had from the last project. As you can see, this one's even smaller. There's a back right here. This is not going to be written on. And it sticks up past the page, if you can see it, so that I can see it easily. Because again, had I not put that little strip of glue, I would have been able to see it if I went like this. But this one, it stands up, but it doesn't stand up too much. You can make that as high or as shallow as you want, but that really is going to be up to you. Another way you can do it is in your coloring books. So this is She Said It Best by Jane Austen. And what I did with here is, this is copier weight paper, but I put a piece of clear packing tape on top of it. Now it does take a little bit of elbow grease, But this is, if I wanted to use this in a coloring page, and I'm sorry if there's a glare, I covered it because then if I use a permanent Sharpie marker, like this, then I can keep a running list of what it is that I used in my page, if that's something that you're interested in, if you're not docking it someplace else or on the page like I do. But the reason why I covered it with packing tape, one, it does make it a little bit more durable because the paper is very thin. These are not going to be heirloom items. They're going to eventually just get dingy, get dirty, get beat up. You can definitely make more. But I've got some antibacterial hand spray. Now, I didn't coat both sides so you can see that it got onto the other side, but with a little elbow grease, you can actually wipe the Sharpie away. And you need quite a bit of elbow grease to do it. If both sides of the paper were coated, I wouldn't get that right there. And I did use quite a bit of spray. You could also get the same effect if you laminated it. I didn't want to bust out my laminator, but that way you can keep reusing these. So you finish a page, you do your completed pages, videos, you write it in your log, however you're going to do it, and then you can just wipe it away and use it again. Now for me, that seems like a lot of work, especially since they're so easy to make, but it does give you some options on, you can make a bunch of these, keep them in a stash, have them on the page that you're already working on, and so long as you have a Sharpie, because again, because it's slick, nothing else will really adhere to it, and you have some alcohol spray, because really just alcohol is what dissolves it, then you can actually keep reusing it. I don't know how good this craft is. It's been a while since I've done craft videos, and since I'm only doing them once a month, it seems like I'm fumbling. I think the idea is good, right? And you just slip it over, and you can use it as your completed pages, your works in progress, haven't colored in, don't stress. I mean, whatever you want to use them for, but I think it's a really simple and easy way to use up your stash and maybe even all those bits of scrap papers that you have because of the kinds of things that you do. You could also, if you have completed pages, if you're from the coloring book world and you don't know what to do with them, you could cut those up and do this project with it as well. And again, you're just getting multiple use and you're upcycling, I think is what it's called, with your stuff. All right, guys, well, that's it for me for now. And as always, aloha.